In this wasteland, Mercy dies fast.
Tell me! She's your mother.
They didn't just kill her mother, they destroyed her entire world. They think she's just a child, but they made one fatal mistake. They left her alive. At the beginning of the story, we are shown a ruined world where almost the entire land has turned barren. Water and food have become extremely rare. But hidden deep inside Australia, there is a secret paradise called the Green Place of Many Mothers. Unlike the rest of the wasteland, this place is full of water, fruits, and life. Many women live there peacefully and grow food through farming. One day, a young girl named Furiosa goes out to collect some ripe fruit. While wandering nearby, she suddenly hears strange noises coming from a distance. Curious, she moves closer and discovers a group of dangerous bikers scouting the area. Realizing these strangers must never learn about the Green Place, Furiosa secretly cuts the fuel hose of one biker's motorcycle. As she attempts to damage another bike, one of the bikers catches sight of her. Before he can grab her, Furiosa quickly stabs the man in the leg with a knife and runs away. As she escapes, Furiosa whistles loudly to warn the people of the Green Place about the danger approaching them. However, before she can reach safety, one of the bikers throws a rope at her and drags her to the ground. The gang captures Furiosa and takes her away by force. Meanwhile, Furiosa's mother, Mary Jabassa, along with the warriors of the Green Place, begins chasing the bikers on horseback to rescue her daughter. During the chase, Mary kills one of the bikers by slicing his throat and steals his motorcycle. Before leaving, the women of the Green Place hand her a pouch of seeds, reminding her that no outsider must ever discover their hidden paradise. They know that anyone who learns the location of the Green Place can never be allowed to survive. Mary quickly continues the pursuit and silently kills another biker along the way. The remaining bikers stop for a moment, confused about why their companion disappeared. When they finally notice Mary approaching from a distance, they panic and speed away. At the same time, Furiosa secretly cuts the fuel line of the motorcycle she is tied to. Mary repairs her stolen bike using parts from a dead biker's motorcycle, transfers the remaining fuel, and resumes the chase. By evening, the biker's motorcycle finally runs out of fuel because of the damaged fuel pipe Furiosa had cut earlier. Frustrated, the two bikers begin arguing with each other. Taking advantage of the distraction, Furiosa frees her hands and tries to escape. Unfortunately, she fails to make it back home and gets captured once again. The next morning, Mary finally reaches the bikers' camp. From a distance, she spots Furiosa being held prisoner. Mary immediately shoots one biker dead, but the surviving biker manages to escape deeper into the camp with Furiosa. There, he proudly announces that he has discovered a hidden land filled with water, resources, and women. Hearing this terrifies Furiosa because she realizes the Green Place is now in grave danger. She knows these men will eventually reveal its location to the rest of their people. Thinking quickly, Furiosa uses a rope to wrap around the biker's neck and hangs him from a moving motorcycle in front of everyone, killing him before he can expose the Green Place. In the end, Furiosa and her mother successfully eliminate every biker who knew the secret location of the Green Place. The bikers eventually take Furiosa to their leader, Dementis, believing that she is the key to finding the Green Place. Dementis is extremely clever and manipulative. Instead of frightening Furiosa, he behaves kindly toward her and orders his men to take proper care of the girl. He hopes that by gaining her trust, she will eventually reveal the location of the Green Place herself. That same night, Furiosa's mother, Mary Jabassa, secretly infiltrates the bikers' camp. She disguises herself by wearing the clothes of dead bikers so she can move around unnoticed. Her only goal is to rescue Furiosa. To find her daughter, Mary quietly searches through every section of the camp. Whenever she enters a camp where Furiosa is not present, she kills everyone there to avoid leaving behind witnesses. Finally, she reaches the camp where Furiosa is being held captive. After rescuing Furiosa, Mary prepares to kill the last remaining girl in the camp. But the frightened girl begs for mercy, explaining that she is also a prisoner just like Furiosa. Hearing this, Mary decides to spare her life. However, that single act of mercy becomes a terrible mistake. As soon as Mary escapes with Furiosa on her motorcycle, the girl triggers the camp's emergency alarm. Within moments, Dementis men begin chasing them across the wasteland. From a distance, the bikers attack them with explosive weapons. One blast burns most of Mary's clothing and armor. Desperate to escape the flames, she throws off the damaged gear, gets back on the motorcycle, and continues racing through the desert as fast as possible. But despite creating distance, the bikers continue gaining on them. Mary soon realizes there is no way both of them will escape alive. Knowing this, she stops the motorcycle and tells Furiosa to ride home alone. Before sending her away, Mary gives Furiosa a peach seed and reminds her to return safely to the green place. Meanwhile, Mary stays behind to fight the bikers alone and buy her daughter enough time to escape. She bravely attacks the pursuing gang, but eventually the bikers overwhelm and surround her. Not long after, Furiosa is captured once again. She is forced to watch as her mother is tied to a tree and brutally tortured to death in front of her eyes. Dementus then claims Furiosa as his adopted daughter. He dresses her up in fine Wasteland gear, hitches her carriage to his chariot, and forces her to witness his brutal conquests as entertainment. He even hands her a teddy bear that belonged to his own lost children, but a grieving Furiosa drops it in the dirt. Annoyed by her defiance, Dementus orders his guards to drag her away. Among the group is an old historyman who tells Furiosa that if she learns to read and write, she could become useful to Dementus and avoid further torture. But Furiosa refuses to trust any of them. Instead, she secretly tattoos a map onto her arm showing the path back to the green place. She believes that one day she will return home, and fears that over time she may forget the way. Sometime later, Dementus and his gang travel across the wasteland when they suddenly notice massive red smoke rising in the distance. Realizing that people must be living there, they follow the smoke and eventually arrive at a place called the Citadel. The Citadel is ruled by the tyrant Immortan Joe. Unlike the wasteland outside, the Citadel has water, crops, and resources. Immortan Joe controls the food supply completely and uses it to maintain power over his soldiers and followers. His warriors are so loyal to him that they are willing to sacrifice their lives without hesitation. Dementus and his bikers were running low on resources, so they confronted Immortan Joe and demanded supplies. They warned him that if he refused to cooperate, they would go to war against him. Hearing this, Immortan Joe responds with complete confidence and mockery. To prove the loyalty of his army, he orders one of his war boys to sacrifice himself immediately. Without hesitation, the warrior obeys and dies for him. Through this, Immortan Joe shows Dementus that no matter how dangerous he may be, his own army is far more powerful because his soldiers are willing to die for him without question. Before the tension can escalate further, Immortan Joe's men suddenly seize all the bikers' motorcycles. Left with no other option, Dementus and his gang are forced to flee. While escaping, Dementus notices that Furiosa has fallen from her cage and become trapped in a pit. Risking his own life, he pulls her out and saves her before escaping with the rest of his men. During their journey, they discover another fortress known as Gas Town. This place is responsible for refining fuel, which powers Immortan Joe's vehicles and weapons. Seeing an opportunity, Dementus decides to capture Gas Town so he can use its oil supply to blackmail Immortan Joe. However, Gas Town is heavily guarded. To infiltrate it, Dementus disguises many of his bikers as war boys. Once they reach the gates, the guards believe they are Immortan Joe's men and allow them inside. The moment the gates open, Dementus betrays and kills the guards. To maintain the deception, he pretends that he has successfully captured one of Immortan Joe's strongholds and enslaved its people. Believing the lie, the people of Gas Town fully open the gates, allowing Dementus and his army to seize control. After taking over Gas Town, Dementus brutally cuts off the fingers of its ruler and sends them to Immortan Joe as a warning. At that moment, Immortan Joe realizes that Dementus is slowly becoming more powerful, and all of that power now comes from the fuel supply he controls. To resolve the situation, Immortan Joe invites Dementus for negotiations. Dementus accepts because he still desperately needs basic resources that only Immortan Joe can provide. During the meeting, Dementus cruelly tortures one of the town's leaders in front of everyone before killing him. He then threatens Immortan Joe by claiming that bombs have been planted all across Gas Town and only he knows how to activate or disable them. If Immortan Joe refuses to cooperate, Gas Town will be destroyed completely. While the negotiations continue, Immortan Joe's attention shifts toward Furiosa. Dementus refers to her as his daughter, but Furiosa immediately denies it, revealing that Dementus murdered her mother and kidnapped her. Annoyed by Furiosa's words, Dementus snatches his old teddy bear back, shoves Furiosa toward Joe's guards, and storms off to take his new throne at Gas Town. Furiosa is then taken into Immortan Joe's vault, where his wives are kept imprisoned. Immortan Joe intends to make Furiosa one of his wives as well. The women there treat Furiosa kindly, but Furiosa quickly realizes the horrifying truth. All of these women are prisoners forced to live under Immortan Joe's control. Soon, Furiosa witnesses Immortan Joe react with rage after one of his wives gives birth to a daughter instead of a son. Furious, he orders the baby to be buried alive because he only desires a healthy male heir. It isn't that Immortan Joe lacks sons. He already has several children, but most of them are physically weak or deformed. Because of this, he continues searching obsessively for a perfect and healthy successor. One day, Immortan Joe's son, Rictus Erectus, notices Furiosa. He grabs her violently and attempts to assault her. Furiosa barely escapes. Realizing that Rictus will continue hunting her, she decides to disguise herself completely. She cuts off her hair and creates a fake wig using netting and wax. At the same time, she carefully protects the peach seed her mother had given her years earlier. The next time Rictus grabs her by the hair, Furiosa leaves the fake wig in his hands and escapes once again. Rictus desperately searches for her, but fails because Furiosa has now disguised herself as a boy. This disguise finally allows her to survive safely inside the citadel. Over time, Furiosa begins working with the citadel's machinery and vehicle systems. Because she is intelligent and extremely fast at learning, she earns a position helping maintain the massive war machines. Years pass, and Furiosa grows into an adult. By now, nobody recognizes that she is actually a woman. To survive, she pretends to be mute and loyally follows the Citadel's harsh rules. Eventually, Immortan Joe rewards her by assigning her to work on a powerful war rig. After successfully building and preparing the vehicle, the war rig is finally taken out for its first major run. But during the mission, Dementus and his bikers suddenly launch an ambush using parachutes and attack vehicles. Praetorian Jack, the man driving the war rig, refuses to stop and continues pushing forward despite the assault. During the attack, the war rig suffers serious damage. Furiosa bravely crawls underneath the moving vehicle to repair it while the battle continues around her. At the same time, one of Dementus' men also slides under the truck and attempts to plant a bomb beneath it. Furiosa fights him underneath the speeding war rig, kills him, and throws the bomb away before it can explode. Meanwhile, the war boys continue battling the bikers outside. During the chaos, another vehicle crashes into the war rig, causing Furiosa's helmet to fly off. Her long hair becomes visible, revealing to Praetorian Jack that she is actually a woman. Despite the revelation, the fight continues. Furiosa skillfully kills several attacking bikers using explosive arrows and weapons. After the battle, Furiosa points a gun at Jack because she fears he may expose her secret. But Jack calmly tells her that he does not care whether she is a man or a woman. He respects her skills as a warrior and wants her beside him as a partner. For the first time in years, Furiosa finally finds someone she can trust. Together, they successfully deliver the war rig to Gas Town. There, Dementus sees Furiosa again after many years, but because she is now fully grown and disguised differently, he fails to recognize her. It is revealed that Gas Town is running out of fuel supplies. In exchange for fuel, Dementus usually receives food and other resources from Immortan Joe. Desperate, Dementus asks Jack to arrange a meeting with Immortan Joe. Jack agrees, but since Dementus has no fuel left to trade, Immortan Joe refuses to send any supplies. As a result, Dementus and his bikers begin raiding and stealing food by force. To stop the chaos, Furiosa drives the war rig out of Gas Town while Praetorian Jack fights off the bikers trying to attack the vehicle. Together, they safely deliver the supplies and Immortan Joe's message requesting a meeting with Dementus. During the battle, Furiosa is struck by an arrow. Later, Jack carefully removes the arrow from her shoulder and stitches the wound himself. While resting together, the two grow much closer. Jack gently asks Furiosa about her past and what happened to her parents. Furiosa reveals that Dementus and his bikers kidnapped her as a child and murdered her mother. She then shows Jack the peach seed her mother had given her long ago. After that, she reveals the map tattooed on her arm, the map leading back to the green place. Even after all these years, she still believes she will one day return home. Hearing this, Jack promises that he will help her reach the green place someday. Furiosa then asks Jack to come with her when that day arrives. Soon after, they receive orders from Immortan Joe. A massive meeting and military operation against Dementus are being prepared, and every available vehicle must join the mission. This time, Jack assigns Furiosa to drive a smaller support truck instead of sitting beside him in the war rig. Secretly, the two already have a plan to escape the Wasteland together and travel toward the green place. As their convoy reaches Gas Town, Jack successfully enters the city first while Furiosa waits nearby for him to return. Instead of coming back, however, Jack releases green smoke into the air, a signal calling the war boys to attack. Seeing this, Furiosa becomes furious and drives away alone. At first, she has the perfect opportunity to escape toward the green place by herself. But she cannot abandon Jack while he is fighting alone inside Gas Town. So, she turns back. Returning to the battlefield, Furiosa grabs her sniper rifle and begins killing Dementis men one by one. One of her bullets even passes dangerously close to Dementis himself. Meanwhile, Jack smashes the gates of Gas Town open with the war rig and drives directly into the fortress. Using the massive drill attached to the vehicle, he begins destroying the structures inside. The bikers swarm him from every direction in an attempt to stop the attack. During the chaos, the war rig is badly damaged, and Jack falls deep into a pit. At the perfect moment, Furiosa arrives on a motorcycle. Using a hanging chain and seat rig, she rescues Jack and pulls him out. The two escape together in another truck. Now their only goal is to flee the wasteland and finally reach the green place. But they do not realize that Dementis is chasing them. As Dementis' vehicle pulls alongside Furiosa's truck, Furiosa prepares to fire at him. But during the collision, her arm becomes trapped between the two vehicles. This is the same arm that carried the tattooed map to the green place. Moments later, Dementis captures both Furiosa and Jack. To torture them, Dementis ties Jack to a motorcycle and forces the bike to spin in circles at high speed. With every rotation, Jack is dragged closer to death. At the same time, Furiosa is chained nearby and forced to watch helplessly while Dementis enjoys the horrifying spectacle. Eventually, Dementis turns around, only to discover that Furiosa has escaped by tearing off her own trapped arm. Enraged, Dementis jumps into his truck to chase her. But as he drives forward, he realizes that Furiosa had secretly removed one of the vehicle's tires before escaping. The truck crashes violently. Meanwhile, the motorcycle Furiosa stole eventually runs out of fuel. Weak and badly injured, she is forced to continue on foot through the burning desert. Her severed arm is bleeding heavily, and under the scorching heat, she eventually collapses unconscious. Luckily, a war boy from the Citadel discovers her and carries her back to safety. At the Citadel, Furiosa receives medical treatment. When she finally wakes up, she desperately demands to speak with Immortan Joe. Once brought before him, she warns that Dementis is preparing a massive attack. She explains that he plans to destroy Gas Town completely and seize control of everything. Realizing the danger, Immortan Joe decides to launch an attack before Dementis can strike first. Soon, the armies of the Citadel march toward Gas Town, and when Dementis sees them approaching, he officially declares war. A brutal conflict erupts between the forces of the Citadel and Dementis' army. The war continues for nearly 40 days. Both sides suffer terrible losses as endless battles consume the wasteland. During this time, Furiosa builds herself a powerful mechanical arm and prepares for one final mission. She returns alone to the battlefield and discovers Immortan Joe's sons repairing damaged vehicles and weapons nearby. Furiosa takes spare parts from them to repair her own car before continuing deeper into the desert. Eventually, she spots Dementis fleeing with the last surviving members of his gang. The bikers notice Furiosa approaching and prepare to attack her, but Furiosa accelerates straight through them, crushing and killing them beneath her vehicle. After slaughtering the entire group, she realizes Dementis is missing. Then, in the distance, she spots a lone biker escaping across the wasteland. It is Dementis. His motorcycle is badly damaged, and he is barely surviving when Furiosa finally catches up to him. Although she could kill him instantly, Furiosa refuses to give him an easy death. Instead, she forces Dementis to remember exactly who she is and what he did to her mother years ago. At first, Dementis fails to recognize her. So Furiosa wraps him in chains and shows him the small teddy bear connected to his past. Only then does Dementis finally realize the truth. He apologizes and desperately offers Furiosa a deal, claiming that together they could rule the wasteland. But Furiosa silently drops the teddy bear onto the ground once more. What happens afterward becomes legend. Some believe Furiosa simply shot Dementis in the head. Others believe she kept him alive and buried him beneath the earth, using the peach seed from her mother to grow a tree from his body. Over time, a peach tree grows from the wasteland itself, feeding on Dementis' remains. In the final scenes, Furiosa eventually succeeds in rescuing Immortan Joe's wives from captivity and helps them escape toward freedom. And with that, the story finally comes to an end. And that was the brutal journey of Furiosa, a girl who lost everything, but still survived the wasteland. If you enjoyed this recap, subscribe to Cinemaned for more intense movie stories.